that problem.
Okay.
Look at all the A names. Welcome, everybody. Boy, we got lots of folks here. If you can find your chat room at the bottom, type in where you're from. I'm curious to see if we have any international listeners, how many people here from different states. Oh, B says hello, Cindy. Oh, Charlene says she's stuck in, broken foot and hand. Charlene, what did you do?
Yeah,
oh,
I remember seeing that. Good thing she only has to listen, not type, and we're not talking about taxes to give her a headache.
Oh, Charlene, that's awful. I missed it. Oh, somebody from Los Angeles. Where else are you from? If you can find the chat room, tell us where you're from. Cindy's Rockin', says Cherie. Michigan. Welcome, Alita from Michigan. Eastern Stores, Maryland. Debbie George, Palm Springs. That sounds pretty. New Jersey. Welcome, Ed and Cherie from Florida. David from Southern California. Massachusetts chiming in. Oklahoma. April from Wheeling, Illinois, and San Francisco area of California. Orlando, oh, I miss home in Orlando. Springfield, Ohio, I know where that is. Karen, welcome. Cindy, Carolyn says, hi, Cindy.
I love Carolyn. So.
Andy's from Canada. We have our first international from Canada. Charlene fell down a step. Oh, Charlene, I'm so sorry. I did not catch that news on Facebook. Oh, I'm glad. Thank you for making it. I know you probably don't feel good. Cleveland rocks from Annette. Yes, Annette, Cleveland rocks. San Jose, eBay territory. Sherry, you are so lucky. Right there in eBay territory. Jamestown, California, Rhode Island, Dallas, Texas, Maryland, San Fernando Valley, Nevada, Mariposa, California. Lots of Californians. JC in Florida. There's my home state. Brandon from Holly, Michigan. Patty from Paso Robles. Is that in California too, Patty? Downey, California. Minneapolis. Hey, Claudia, I was just in your city. Nice to see you there. Well, we have a lot of people from California. Cindy, you must be pulling a lot of hometown fans.
No, I'm getting the people out of bed. They're rolling out of bed.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's true. The time change. So yes, Patty, it is. That is from California. Interesting. They love it. But V says you look so cute in that picture. She likes the picture we picked for you.
Thank you.
Blue Mountain Beach, Cherie. Oh, that sounds neat. Okay, well we're a minute over, so I think we're ready to start. Sherry, Cindy, are you ready to go?
I am ready to go.
Awesome. And Karen, are you ready? Oh, Karen muted herself, so she's doing a good thing.
Yes,
all right.
I'm ready.
She's ready. Our question princess is in the house. All right, here we go. Oh, well, David has a question already, and when we get started, we'll answer your question. I promise you, David. Hey, Susan, nice to see you. Okay, Eric, I think we're ready to get started. All right? Welcome, everybody, to this month's e-commerce weekly webinar. The top-rated seller webinars are now hosted on e-commerce weekly, and we want to welcome you to our webinar today. We're talking about mobile, eBay mobile, with the eBay mobile expert, Cindy Sorley. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. The question we always have is this webinar being recorded? Yes. And a little bit of difference this week. From now on, our webinars will be hosted on ecommerceweekly.com and also, of course, on our YouTube channel. And after the webinar is open, you'll get a link to the recording. Cindy has graciously agreed to let us use her slides, so you'll also get a PDF of Cindy's slides to download at eCommerce Weekly. If you're having trouble hearing my voice, you might have trouble hearing Cindy's too. So check out your audio. If you're using the phone, the best option is just to hang up and call in on a new line and see if that fixes the problem. If you're on the computer and you're having sound issues, our best advice is try using the call-in number and using your phone. That usually solves all the problems. We want to make sure you know who our sponsors are. Top Rated Seller Webinars is sponsored by Stamps.com. Spend less time shipping and more time selling. Go with Stamps.com. We are also sponsored by eBay Radio. I love their tagline, where you've got the grip. Listen live at ebayradio.com every Tuesday and Thursday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And don't forget our connectors, that cat, that's me, and Karen Locker of solutionsforecommerce.com. Want to invite you to join our active Facebook group. We're up to 1,700 members and growing. Facebook.com/groups/TRS webinars. We started a store review every week, so join us and let us look at your store and give you ideas.
Excuse me, Kat, are the slides supposed to be moving?
Yes, the slides should be moving.
Mine aren't moving.
Cindy, are the slides moving for you?
They are moving.
Okay, Karen, I don't know what to tell you.
All righty, because I'm still on Cindy's front one. All right.
Well, you get to watch Cindy. You get to watch Cindy the whole time. That's not a bad thing. All right, thanks, Karen, because it could have been a problem across, and we appreciate you letting us know. And our next webinar is set are the eBay stores. If you have an eBay store, is the new store or the classic store? Which is best for your business? We'll welcome two eBay store experts, Sally Milo of Milo Design and Sharon Ware of Dandelion Consulting. They've been building eBay stores for years, and they've got the inside info about the new store setup and the classic stores. Sign up for this webinar at ecommerceweekly.com/webinars. All right, Cindy, I think it's your turn. We've already got questions coming in, Cindy. I hope you're ready for this.
I am.
Oh, good, because they're pouring the questions in already. So here you go, Cindy. Take it over.
Okay, welcome everybody, and welcome a lot of the members from my private group that I run, and for those that are in attendance. We are a closed group at Cindy's Online Selling Tips, but if you attended today and you want to join, please email me. The link will be on the last page. But anyway, for all of those that don't know me, I run an eBay store called Stitchery Express. I have been selling on eBay buying on eBay since 1998, selling since 2000. And so when I discovered the eBay mobile app at one of the eBay, I was trying to remember yesterday how long it's been. It's when it was very first launched. I'm a member of the eBay Voices community, and they talked about this thing that they're going to do with the mobile phones. I was like, yeah, right. So when I was out in San Jose, they showed it to me before they introduced it to everybody, and I was stuck. I loved it. So I'm going to ask a poll in a few minutes after we go. Oh, here we are. Here's the poll right now. I'd be curious to know, for all of those that are in attendance, if you're currently using eBay Mobile. It gives me a baseline of where I kind of know who's buying. So please take this poll. We'll keep it up for a few seconds. I'm curious to know that if you're buying it, if you're using it for buying or selling.
This is really going to be a fun poll, Cindy, and you told me you were going to use me as a guinea pig, and I'm all for that because I have to answer no. So as much as I know all the interesting facts about mobile, I just really haven't gotten into it. So you can use me as a guinea pig to tell me all the good things about mobile.
Well, and I'm excited about that because there are so many people when they see me doing something at an eBay event still to this day, and they're sellers and even buyers, they're not even using their mobile device, and they go, God, you have a lot of emails, or you're in that phone all the time. Well, when I'm on that phone all the time, I'm probably listing, answering questions, or doing other things, because I am a 100% mobile user. The only thing that I do not do, 34% are not using mobile at all. Wow.
You have a lot of converting to do. I'll leave you to it. And I'll be listening.
This is awesome. This is awesome. 30% are using it for selling, but the no is what I'm really interested in. And so this is why I really, really want to encourage you. And so now what we're going to do is I'm going to explain to you the importance of why you need to be using the mobile device and the reason why it's so important, not only as a seller, but also as a buyer, and also why we need to do it. And so one thing to keep in mind is that the apps for the mobile devices are in 8 languages and are in 190 countries. The other thing to keep in mind that I'm going to tell you as sellers, please, 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 eBay's concentration right now is global and mobile. So global meaning international, and that's why you're seeing these 190 countries. PayPal just opened up in Latin America, and so you're going to be seeing a lot more people using their devices. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the numbers. We're going to talk about what's being sold globally. I'm going to give you hints on listing, and then we'll have questions and answers. So Karen, if there's questions during any of the upcoming slides, please jump in and ask.
I got something for you, Cindy. I think it's been interesting. I'm reading in the chat where they're answering questions about how they use mobile. Several people are mentioning that they use eBay Mobile to check prices, like when they're out scouting. So we hadn't thought about including that in the poll, but that's an interesting use of eBay Mobile, I thought.
Yes, and one thing to keep in mind is, I'll just give you this up front. I was going to tell you this in one of the things, is you can do research on eBay mobile for 15 days and to check for researched sold items. You can also open up your mobile device, open up Safari or Chrome, whichever you prefer. eBay Classic goes back 90 days in sales. So that's something to keep in mind. When you're looking and you say, oh, nothing is sold on eBay, keep in mind it's only for 15 days. And the reason why it's only 15 days, because Apple has limits on how long it takes to load a program. And if they were to go back 90 days, Apple would not approve of them to have, you know, the whole, you know, all the items come up. It takes too long to load on an app. So now this is just numbers on mobile, only mobile. $20 billion has been sold on devices just through 2013. There have been 725 million plus created mobile listings. Now we're only talking Android, you know, Samsung, iPhones, iPads. Now I will tell you I am 100% mobile iPad, iPad mini, and mobile phone iPhone user. So I'm not familiar with the Android apps that much. I do know that there are limitations and that the iPhone app is the most updated. There are 7.9 million new listings a week put on eBay. Last quarter, the first quarter of the year, it was a little bit higher. The security breach, we lost lost a number of sellers and buyers who got a little nervous about it. eBay is recovering. They're getting them all back, and you'll see those numbers really climb. Also, when you hear the term touched by mobile, 40% of every listing on eBay was in some way touched by mobile. I personally think the numbers are higher, meaning that they either opened up the app to look at the item, they researched an item, they purchased the item, or they somehow that was touched by mobile. So far, to date, there's been over 260 million plus downloads of the eBay mobile app. That is really big, and that is why eBay is such a strong leader in mobile commerce. They've overtaken other companies. And so that's really important to remember these numbers, to keep these numbers in mind when you are thinking about it. Because if you've got a listing and you want to get it out, make sure it's ready, and we'll talk about getting them ready for mobile. So Eric, let's go to the next one, and we'll talk about who's buying, and this is globally.
Wow.
Yeah, so fashion, technology, vehicles, shocking, home and garden, and collectibles. You know, I'm a huge seller in the crafts department. 98% of my items that I sell are crafts. I own a needlework store where I sell craft items. I sell cross-stitch, needlepoint, yarns, anything dealing with the needle. And so my category is not in there, but I'll tell you that 42% of my sales are global, and that's huge. So let's look at some numbers and see what's selling and how fast. You guys will get a kick out of this. This is items that are, this is the categories that are selling globally. So you can see fashion is pretty much right up there, except for in Germany, it's number 3, but it's 1 all around the world. Now fashion includes clothing and jewelry and accessories. And so this is really, really incredible how different countries are buying. And so that's a slide that Bea put together for me. In fact, Bea did all of these for me, and she's on today. She's done a marvelous job with these, and I can't thank her enough. But this gives you some ideas of what is selling. So if you have items to sell, get them up there. When you go into the next screen, you'll see how often an item is sold each second and each minute on eBay. So you've got, in the U.S., a car is sold every 5 minutes. And I have to say that the Sorley family, our son, just bought a motorcycle on eBay in Las Vegas. And we also bought our Volkswagen a few years ago, 5 years ago, on eBay. So we are contributing to it. I am a big buyer on the site also and fit into all of these. But this just tells you where people are buying. Now, this is only mobile. This is not the whole This is not just everybody on their computers. This is just mobile. So try to capture some of those sales that you can. Okay, next we're going to go in, and I just wanted to talk to you about those numbers, but next we're going to go in and talk about why I use the eBay mobile. Okay, first of all, I travel a lot, speaking with eBay and doing a lot of traveling. My husband's a retired Delta pilot, so we're on the go. I always have what I call my Mary Poppins bag. It looks like an old bag Mary Poppins would have carried, and it's always full of needlework accessories, patterns and stuff to list. So if we're going to go somewhere and we have to go to a doctor's appointment or something, my husband's driving, I grab the bag, and I can list in the car. And that is the neatest thing about it. It is very quick. Now, I will tell you, I use the iPhone app all the time because I like it so much more. It's current. I'm also a beta tester. There's some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things coming up. The team is incredible. And so I can't talk about a lot of the things on the beta testing right now, but I think everybody's going to be pretty happy. So here's the one thing about this is not on the Androids, but on iPhone, Apple products, your photos are not stored on your app. So if you say, oh, I don't want to have all my photos on there, it takes up all my memory or it takes up all my space, you don't need to worry about that. They only go to the eBay listing as you're making the listing in the device. So if you do take your photos separately, we do have a few buyers in my group that do take their photos separately so they can square them. Those are stored. Then you move them over to your eBay mobile, but they are still stored if you don't take them with inside of the app itself. So listing on the go, I list outside. I listed the hospital when my husband had surgery in May. We've just done, I list everywhere I go. People see me at parties. If it gets bored, I just pull out the listing stuff. I know that's kind of tacky, but hey, I run a business. The other thing that I use it for all the time is the ease of answering questions for buyers. If you are not listing on eBay, at least download the app and look how easy it is to list items. To answer buyers' questions. You can go into the app, you can get all your messages, you answer instantly, and it just sends them. It is really, really easy. The one really cool thing that I think was a brilliant, brilliant marketing idea for eBay was the cha-ching. When you sell an item, you get the big sound of cha-ching. And so we love that. And whenever you're at an eBay event and the phone goes off, everybody screams and yells because they just think it's so cool. The other thing I do really, really want to, if you're a user, new user, old user, whatever, and you're interested in beta testing these, please contact me and I can get you in contact with Kenrick Russell, who's a head of beta testing. I've been having some issues with the program not loading, and I realized that I didn't have much space on my iPhone, and Kenrick knew immediately why it wasn't loading correctly. So I had to go and delete some of my 9,000 photos. But the mobile team listens. They listen well. They're an amazing group. I know pretty much most of them, and I've really enjoyed them. Other people say, well, I don't like my photos. I don't like my photos I take with the iPhone. Most of the reason why people don't like their iPhone or their photos is because they're not using their lighting, and we'll talk about that, using proper natural lighting. But if you say, I like everything about the listing, but I don't like the photos, go ahead and make your listing and then save it. You can go to your computer, you can open up that listing or that draft, and you can finish your listing on the computer. A lot of people are saving them because they did not have the description box for used products. I can announce that that is coming out in the new update. I am beta testing it right now. I did get permission to say that that is coming, and that has been one of the most requested requests for eBay Mobile to have for those that sell used items. The speed of listing, to me, is probably the greatest. My husband is now retired from Delta Airlines, and he said, let me help you out. Let me help you out. So I sat him down one night with 45 pieces of needlework linen. I had all the information on the bag of what it was, the color, the size, and everything. He just had to follow that in his description, and he did it. He used voice to text. He didn't have to hardly write anything, and he had all 45 of those done in about an hour and a half. Now, that's unbelievable to have that much done, and just incredible. The speed of listing is amazing, and I'll give you some really, really good hints on how to do quicker listings. One of the greatest things that I have found with the mobile device is that as you're revising listings, when eBay sends you a message saying, oh, your photos are not up to par, or let's change your keywords, let's change your titles, whatever. I still have a ton of photos that still do not meet eBay standards, but I was grandfathered in, and I know that they'll be dropping in search. So what I do is I gather a lot of my patterns, bring them up to the dining room table, and I'm revising the listings in the mobile app by taking new photos and changing the listings around. I will say that eBay's come a long, long way on their bulk editing. If you guys have not done any bulk editing, I'm also working with the team on that on Classic Mobile. It's incredible if you also need to revise listings there. But I take all my new photos with my iPad or iPhone, and it works fabulous, and it's very, very quick. One of the things that I don't use a lot because I'm a fast typer is voice to text, but that's been one of the biggest things that people just love. They love that you can say something into the title and it comes out. My problem is it doesn't like the words the way I talk a lot of the time, so I have to be careful, and then I'm retyping it or redoing something. And so what I have to do is I just find that it's easier. Now, my husband does really well with it. So that's something to really keep in mind. Okay, so next, on the next screen, I'm going to give you some hints. And I know we've only got an hour, and I could go on for hours and hours and hours on eBay Mobile. I do have a website that's got 2 or 3 videos on it on YouTube, and we'll talk about that on the last page. I will continually be adding new videos for you guys. That's my commitment to you guys for this Top Rated Seller webinar, that I will be adding more videos for you guys to watch on how to do mobile listing. It's hard for me to photograph them because I'm usually doing the listing and holding my iPhone or something to list, but I'm going to get my husband to help me film those. So say, for example, you sell a lot of different stuff. I tell people this is a time to get your stuff organized, get it into bins or get it into different things, and organize your items. Say, for example, if you have coffee cups, put them in one area. If you have a whole bunch of men's T-shirts or Hawaiian shirts or anything, put them in one area. Ties, we have a lady in our group that sells ties. And then one night, grab a whole bunch of them, and you're going to make all those listings for that night or that day in one setting to save time. So you're not going to have to be changing the category a lot. You can just kind of go in and change the title a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll grab a whole bunch of, like I said, linens that I sell for needlework or yarns. So one night I do linens, the next night I do yarns, the next night I do coffee cups, and it kind of changes the whole look of not getting bored, burnout doing the same listings. And so if you list at one time, you can really, really save some time. And that is a really, really important thing for me. That's where I sit one night. Then I'm not bored listing cross-stitch patterns for 6 weeks at a time. The other thing that is so important and is really, really important is eBay's focus is mobile and global. So sell and buy on the mobile app and sell internationally. Now, if you're scared to sell on the mobile app, we're going to go over some big tips on how to get it ready. But for those of you, and I know they're out there because I see it every day, that do not sell internationally, you are really, really, you're not getting that money in your pocket. Our markets, when you're looking at the BRIC countries, which are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and now they've added an S, and I think that is Singapore, I'm not sure. That's where the money's coming from, and those are some of my biggest countries. Don't sell a lot on needlework to India, but I do sell a lot to the other countries. My biggest international sales is Australia. Awesome. And now I'm a big user of stamps.com, and so I ship all of my packages internationally through stamps.com because they offer first-class, large, flat envelope through them, but they do not offer it on eBay and PayPal. And so what you want to do is that will save your customers a lot of money. You can ship a 3-ounce package for $4, where if you ship it as a package through eBay, it's going to be $8 to $12. So that's just something to keep in mind. Also, lots of photos. The coolest thing about the eBay mobile app is that, especially on the iPhone, I don't know if it is on the Android, so again, please be aware that I'm not sure. But now all you do is click, 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 click. So you can take the photos. You don't have to click and save, click and save, click and save. You can go in and edit them, right after you take all of them. eBay's big on photos. They want photos, so take them. But also, when everybody says, oh, my colors are just not right, I sell clothing and my colors are not right. A lot of the problems, it's your lighting. And we can get into a whole thing on lighting. Griff is really, really big from eBay Radio on lighting. He's done seminars on these that are on the internet. Look at your lighting. But I know a lot of people say, well, I can't sell clothing because I don't get the right photos, the right colors and everything. The thing that you want to remember is, I've got one guy, David, who's here with us today. He's always telling us, ladies, I have to go outside to take my photos, because he's doing it under natural lighting. His photos are amazing, but he's also using the apps and stuff. And so that's what is so important, is a lot of times the phone camera is not the issue, it's your lighting issue. So please keep that in mind. The other thing, going into titles, you want to keep your titles keyword rich, meaning do not spam the words, but make sure that that customer is coming to buy your item. Okay, on mobile, how you're going to sell your item is first by them searching the title. If you've got the right title, they're going to come to your listing. You want to make sure that those photos you just took are in gallery and not embedded in your photo. Now, if you're going to have them up on gallery and you want to still embed them, you can. But where you're going to get those buyers is they thumb through those gallery photos. Then they'll go, okay, I like this. Now I'm going to go look at your description. But how you're going to get them there is by your photos and your title. Then your description comes after that. That's where you're going to pick up those buyers. And I think that's where a lot of eBay sellers are not mobile ready for the buyers. They're not ready at all because they've got their pictures embedded. They've got one gallery photo up on top and all the rest are embedded. They've got templates. We can't, mobile devices cannot scroll through all those templates to go back and forth. You've just lost me as a buyer, totally, if I have to do all of that. The other thing is to keep in mind that when you're talking to, or when you're trying to sell your item to a mobile user, you want to keep your description left aligned. So all of your, do not use paragraphs. So say, for example, I'm going to sell a Starbucks coffee cup. It's going to say Starbucks coffee cup. Next sentence would say what year. Next sentence would say what, if it's a Minneapolis City cup, whatever, ounces. Keep them all left aligned so it's easy to read, because when someone's got a mobile app and they have to read these long paragraphs and everything, you're totally have lost them if you have to do all that. Templates, really hard to read because the templates take up a whole page. Mobile devices, they need to be ready. And I'm going to give a little term to all of you that have been selling for a long time. eBay itself of 2014 and coming into the 2015 year is not the eBay of 2013 or even before that. You don't need your long terms of service anymore. You don't need to tell people why they should not give you a negative, why they should not, do all of this. I will agree the defect system, a lot of people have not liked it, and so I know that some people are putting in their descriptions, please contact me through the other button if you have an issue, instead of, opening a case, because most people don't know they open a case if they contact you like item not received or something like that. So don't have all this stuff of why they need to buy your item and all of this, because it makes you appear to be difficult to work with if you have to go through all your terms and everything. Because when someone comes onto eBay, and even if they're an international seller or an international buyer or domestic buyer, They are coming on and they're seeing that you ship in one day. They see their shipping cost. They see how long it should be estimated to get to them. eBay's put that all in for them. And also, for international, don't be scared of filling out customs forms or anything like that. I am not a user of the GSP program, but the Global Shipping Program is an awesome, awesome program for those that sell heavy items. You will ship it to Kentucky, and then eBay takes care of it from there. Something to really consider. I know there's a lot of people that like it. The reason why I do not use it is my items are so lightweight. Most of them go first class large flat envelope because they're patterns. But don't let international scare you. The other thing is like we talked about, is revising the old listings is a breeze on mobile. Say, for example, eBay sent you that little message saying you need to fix, 25 of your items photos. I go in, pull up the report, pull those 25 items, go up to my house, take the photos, and then put the items back. Instead of having to go take all the photos, go and pull up every single listing on my computer, delete all the photos. It's just really, really, really a good thing. Also, once you list your item on mobile, you're able to share it on social media. There is an issue right now with the eBay mobile device with the Pinterest. It is a Pinterest issue, but once you list an item, you can pop it up to Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, any of your items. For those of you that do not have a business page on Facebook, I recommend it and connect it to that. Do not post these onto your personal pages. That'll have more people unfriend you very quickly. Just saying. But anyway, the ease of going through the listing itself is so amazing. I'm just opening up my iPhone right now as I'm talking to you all, and I'm going to my sell button on the bottom, and I already have a draft saved. That's the great thing, is you can save drafts of items that you have. So say, for example, you had 10 or 15 coffee cups and you listed them. Save one of them as a draft. Then you can go back and list from that one. Or you can go into one of your coffee cups that you just listed, and you can say, sell one like this. You can do everything. It'll say, do you want to save the photos? No, and it deletes all the photos. It's really, really cool. On the draft, if you want to use it from Save a Draft, you have to delete the photos individually because it thinks you're finishing a listing. But I like to go in, for example, where I say enjoy the time saved to list more. I like to go in, find an item that I have got in my eBay store. Say, for example, I'm selling a brand of cross-stitch patterns. I go in, I get new items from them every month because I'm on their new item list. I go into one of their old listings, and I find it, sell similar, and it'll say delete the photos, yes, but I'm only changing a few things in the title. I'm changing the name of the pattern, but I've already got it. It's already a Lizzie Kate. It's already a counted cross stitch. It's already a pattern. Then I go in the category if I have to change that. On the eBay mobile app, with Apple, you can now add store categories. You can add 2 if you own a store. Android, they're working on, I promise you, something they're working on. Very easy. Go in and do your description. What I do is I copy my title of my description and put it into my description, and then I add other information, the condition that is brand new from the wholesaler or designer, stuff like that. Do not leave your description blank. You want it to be found in search. And if you just go in and put new pattern, you've just lost yourself in organic search. Go in and put your title again, put what it is, put the condition also in there. A lot of people say, I don't like to put the condition because it's new. I like to put it in because a lot of people are on eBay thinking that they're buying used patterns, and they're wondering why they're having to pay retail prices for mine. So I put new from designer, or new from new directly from the wholesaler, or whatever, or distributor, whatever, because I want them to know that it is new. Because a lot of people don't read, as we know. So that's something that I really want to stress to you, is to not leave that description field blank. There's so many easy ways to fix that with voice to text. So when I go in and I do a listing, the first thing you're going to do is take your photos, which is really, really cool. And so when you take the photos, they offer you 12. If you can use all 12, do it. People love photos. They love to see what the item is. And so the next thing you want to do is make sure that title is completely usable. Do not keyword spam, meaning don't use like, don't use parentheses, don't use question marks, don't use any of that. Make that item of what you look at that item and say, what would I search on eBay to get this item in my hands? So look at that, and I think that'll really, really help you with that. The next thing that they do is the category, and that's the eBay category and your stores category. So what you're going to do is you're going to find your eBay category, and if you have the Apple devices, you'll be able to add to 2 to your store categories. I tell my followers in my group all the time, make sure that you have categories set up in your stores. We have a few people that have over 3,000 or 4,000 items and have no categories. You want people to have categories, buyers be able to come in your store and shop in your store by category. Imagine going into, a store like Kohl's or Walmart or somewhere, and they had no order. You just couldn't do it. Look at yourself as one of those stores. The next item is condition. You can have new or used, and you are getting the new box for that. Details is what they call the details section is 2 things. It's description and item specifics. Probably the biggest request right now is to have custom item specifics on eBay Mobile. You're only given the item specifics that eBay has set for that category or that item. That is something that a lot of people go back in and do editing afterwards. I don't edit anything after I list it on eBay Mobile because I just don't have the time. But if I were to be selling a lot of clothing and stuff, I would probably go back in and do some bulk editing. So one thing that you want to do is make sure that that description is all, has what your item is and any other information so that they're going to buy it from you. Remember that that title and those photos are what's going to get that buyer to open your description in all those countries and in the U.S. The next is your format and your price. You can go in and you can do auctions or you can do fixed priced. This is interesting because eBay gives you hints. They have this algorithm of what you titled your item to give you an idea of what that item is going to sell for. And they do have this little thing that says your item is more likely to be purchased if you list it as auction. 98% of my items, actually probably 99% of my items are buy it nows because I'm basically just a store where they can go in and buy my items. If I can't find an item at research prices to know how much it's worth, if it's an out-of-print needlework kit or something, here's a great example. A few months ago I had a kit that originally came out as a limited edition to a store in Oklahoma, sold for $49.99. And I thought, okay, I'm going to list it at auction starting at $49.99 because you want to list your items at the lowest amount you'll take if you only get one bid, and then you have nothing to complain about, that you didn't get enough money. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that say, I'm going to do 99 cents, and then all I hear is, I only got one bid. I only got one bid. You have to have 2 people looking for that item in a 7-day period. So I couldn't establish how much this kit was going to go for. I thought maybe $49. It ended up selling for $200 and $250 because it had been out of print. It was, the girl was so happy to get it, and the second bidder said, do you have another one? But I said, no, as it's stated in my listing, I only had one, sorry. And so that's when I do use auctions. But the thing is eBay also allows you to set up for best offers, and they also to let you do what you would automatically accept or decline at. So basically, you're getting the whole eBay listing right on your mobile where you really don't have to go in and change anything. The one issue that I do have is that you have the domestic packaging. You can do first class, priority, whatever you want on that. International, Canada, and the whole international group is mixed together. So what I do is I choose international first class for all countries but Canada, and then I pick Canada as standard economy. Do not hit UPS, because you will lose all of your Canadian buyers if you have anything marked UPS, because they pay a heavy, heavy brokerage fee to have the stuff delivered to their homes or offices through UPS or FedEx. So keep that in mind, but eBay is working on it, the mobile team is working on it, and we will likely get a Canada first class on priority shipping, because the difference is so huge for other countries. So if you're seeing your Canadian sales go down, that could be why, because to ship a first class flat rate padded envelope, $19.95 to Canada, $23.95 to other parts of the world that accept them. And so so that's why I always put that those are not separated out. And the other thing is you can save all those preferences so that your preferences for shipping and PayPal payment and all of that is saved. So I could talk all day. Promise you there are a few videos. Go ahead, Kat.
Oh, no, I was just saying I love the fact that you're so excited about mobile. So, and there's tons of people asking you questions, so keep talking.
Well, I'm willing to take any questions, because I know I've probably covered so much in such a short time.
You have, and I found myself nodding, and I'm like, okay, it's not a video, nobody can see you nodding, but nodding in agreement as you went along. So I'm sure Karen has a huge list of questions. Are you there, Karen?
I thought you meant nodding off.
No, nodding in agreement.
You need to make sure you phrase things there, girl.
Hey,
that was the first thing I thought too.
Pat and Karen, before we get to the questions, you guys want to run another poll?
Oh, let's do that. Yeah, I love the polls.
All right, here it comes.
Oh, now, well, it's a good thing we did this after Cindy's presentation, because I would have said I don't know anything about mobile before, except I like to hear the cha-ching once in a while. But now after Cindy's presentation, I think I know a little bit more. So y'all jump in and answer. And again, on the poll, you click right on the slide to give your answer. So beginner, some experience, or advanced. What do you consider yourself? Oh, they're still adding away, Cindy.
Good. And one thing I would like to really, really talk to anybody that is not, or have them chime in, why they are not using the mobile app. And a lot of times I hear, well, I haven't gotten a phone yet, or I'm not a smartphone user. And I would like to know if you have a smartphone and you are not using the app, I'm just curious to know why not. And I converted. I don't know if you guys know who Scott Henshaw is. He was, Scott was not using the app to list, and now his sales have skyrocketed. Wow. This is pretty interesting, because I think I'm going to be seeing an advanced use class. Because there's only 16% of people are advanced. I could go over all the, one of the guys in our group wanted to know about the extra search buttons and all of that. So I will make some videos about advanced use of the device, and I'll also try to get some of the mobile team to do a couple of videos for me on stuff, and I'll post those on my YouTube page.
Okay, and guys, the link is right there to Cindy's YouTube, or you can just Google Cindy Sorley YouTube if you have trouble with it. And the Stitcher Express is there. There we go. There's her link. So take a note of that.
Now, the only ones that are on there right now are listing from a sell one like this, and but I will promise to add some more. We've just had a hectic week here, and so I will definitely do that. But boy, that's amazing. Only 16% are advanced, and 40% are beginners. Beginners, we want you to be getting ready. So I would like to hear. I would like anybody to write why they don't use it.
I'll tell you my story. Go ahead, Karen. You tell her yours.
Okay, because I use flat files, I use spreadsheets, and so I just pick them up and work on them as I go along. So you're using
So you're using the files.
Yeah, I use File Exchange.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's just quicker and easier for me because I don't have templates or anything, but it would actually take me longer probably to do it on mobile because my system is so quick at this point.
Yes. Okay. Awesome.
And I would say the only reason I had is, to me, I thought it was one more learning thing, and I was like, I've got to get around to learning that, but I haven't. I guess I just saw it as one more thing I need to learn. So
that's interesting because, yeah, it's a very, very easy learning curve. And I sat my son down one night, who's 26, and said, okay, let's open you an eBay account, let's list, and I showed him one listing, and I said, okay, let's go and do another one. He goes, Mom, I can do this on my own. I can do this on my own. I'm like, okay. Well, in 2 hours, he had 45 items listed.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, wow. So, and him and his girlfriend now list all the time. They list on weekends, and they have listing dates where they go out and they list, out in the park or whatever, and they list together. And so it's pretty cool. But yeah, so I will say eBay Mobile is not for everybody. Like if you have a huge inventory, like Karen uses files, from what are they, CSV files and stuff like that. That's not like that's not going to be for you. But for those that really want to use the mobile device to get a lot of listings up, and here's one thing I'm going to say. I'm going to give you a little hint about defects. If you say, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose top-rated seller because I'm below the 2% defect rate, list some stuff, list it quickly, list it on mobile, and get those numbers up. The defects are all about numbers. So as you sell more items, your numbers are going to, weigh themselves out. So I've had a couple of international items come up missing just this week, so I've had some global cases opened against me. They will not count on global against the U.S. ones, so I'm fine, but I could lose global TRS. I won't be seen and searched so much globally from what I understand. But I'm just listing a whole bunch of stuff, and it'll get those numbers down. Don't let those defects scare you guys, because it's really actually a good thing for buyers and sellers.
Well, you can't sell it if it's not listed, like you said, so keep listing. I'm seeing a lot of people chime in, Cindy, answering you. It seems like most of them are kind of a version of what I said. They have their system, and they're used to it, and it feels fast. And so they're saying things like, I'm so fast on my notebook, I don't see how it would be faster, or I see the benefits for buyers, but I'm not sure what the benefits are for me. So I think a lot of it seems to be that they have their system they're comfortable with. So I would say, when people start selling on eBay, or want to start selling on eBay, Cindy, I always tell them to buy something first, to kind of get an idea of what eBay is and the culture. It seems to me that we have so many buyers using mobile that as a seller, it would behoove us to learn to list with mobile, even if it doesn't become our major. Like, we don't turn into Cindy and list everything mobile. But I think maybe listing one or two things mobile will at least have us more understand those mobile buyers. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense, and that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that what I recommend is even if you have your set way of doing something, and you feel like you're that much faster on mobile device. A lot of people say, well, it's too tiny to type, and it's too, but yet you text, but yet but yet you're using it in other ways. That's the biggest one I hear is it's too hard to type. Well, use voice to text if you've got if you've got that ability. But the thing is even if you're set in your way, buy something on the device and look and see what their listings look like, and say, wow, I really need to change my listings, because more than 40% of the people out there are looking at mobile, are using their mobile device, and my listings are just not ready. The other thing is even if you have this, try a listing of something, go pick up something in your house that someone gifted you that you don't want to sell, and you don't have it in your file already, for your CSV files or whatever. Just go try to list it and see how easy it really is. And you may go, wow, for some things I might be able to move these over to mobile because it is that much easier. And but it is not for everybody. And I just see Shirley just subscribe to my YouTube. Thank you, Shirley.
Well, I think, like you said, there's so many buyers out there that are using mobile that good point you made, that we really need to buy something and see what the buyers are seeing. And I do think at least listing one or two things would give us an idea of how to make our listings more mobile friendly, which I think is a big question.
Exactly. That's huge. So, Karen, I'm ready for any questions.
Okay, I've got the first one from Nanette, I think. She says, I've been using mobile listings from time to time, but I seem to lose some data when I sync between my phone and my computer. Are any tips? Also, can you get the new drafts feature in Selling Manager Pro to sync with the mobile app?
Okay, so what you want to do is make sure that you're saving that, Nana, make sure you're saving that as a draft. So what you do is up at the very top, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you save and close. A lot of people are just leaving it open and they're not saving it and closing it down, because if it's opened on your iPhone already, you know, like to sell it, you'll lose stuff in time, you know, because it's not updating itself. So you want to make sure that you save it and close it. When you close that, it'll save in your selling device on eBay. Now, if you have Selling Manager Pro, and selling is Selling Manager Pro is to watch your items, to do everything from it. But if you go into your sell item, you hit the advanced button to be a more advanced. Those don't matter. If you're a buy it, sell it now, sell it easy, sell it, you know, they have so many levels of selling on eBay on their classic site. You should see your drafts at the bottom. If you have any questions, just message me and I'll get them for you. But yeah, make sure you save the draft and close it. Close out that item, and it'll save to a draft on your computer.
Very cool. Thank you.
Okay, so let's see. Kat, you can watch whatever comes in as we're talking for me, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, one of the first questions is, does the ka-ching sound actually sound like a cash register? Mine makes a sound, but it doesn't make that sound. Can you have it make different sounds, or is it just the ka-ching?
It's just the cha-ching, and to me, it either sounds like a slot machine or a cash register. It's kind of an old classic sound. But you cannot change it. It might be different on different devices.
Yeah, I know mine makes the ka-ching, and I have Android, and I remember one of my Androids it didn't, and eBay Mobile at one of the events actually was trying to figure out why.
Yeah,
not get mine to ka-ching. Can mobile be used for post-sale processing?
Okay, so here's what I do for post-sale. You can add tracking. You can mark the item as shipped. You can contact the buyer that your item has been shipped. You can send notices, you know, like you can, you know, what it does is, so here's an example what I did yesterday. And this is something I have to talk to Stamps.com about. I had a lady buy 6 items. She paid for them all separately. They were all going to Australia. On Stamps.com, I always combine. I couldn't combine her orders yesterday to do them all. I could only do one at a time. And so what I did is I printed off one. Then I went into my iPhone, marked as shipped, scanned the tracking, uploaded it. Did the next one, scanned the tracking, uploaded it. And it was just easy as can be. The one thing that you can't do from the app, but will be coming down the road, I can't guarantee you when, is you'll be able to print invoices. Right now, if I'm on the go, I use my Air printer, and I go into Safari and go in and print all my invoices. But that will be something down the road. And also looking at combining invoices to send to your customer. But yes, there's a lot of post information that you post stuff that you can do.
Okay, cool. I always let Stamps, and there was actually a problem with eBay the other day with tracking was getting posted, but it wasn't being marked as shipped. I haven't figured that one out. I actually called them, and they're like, it's a glitch. I'm like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's like, okay, but, you know, you have to have this done within a certain amount of time now. Okay, next question. Are all listings accessible by mobile, or only the ones you input by the iPhone or iPad?
Okay, so that's an excellent question. Excellent question. If you go into your eBay and you say you have 2,500 listings, only 600 of your listings are going to be shown. And that is because of the load issue with Apple, you know, where if they had all 2,500 of your items, only 600 are going to show in your app, or 600 of what have just sold are going to show in your app. But all items, whether you list it on your phone, on your computer, or whatever, are accessible through the app. So, but when you see that 600 number, you're like, oh, I can only see 600, but I have 1,200 items listed. It's because of load issues. But if you go to search, your item will show up. and you can revise from there.
Awesome. And you just answered the next question, which was the same thing. She has 872 items, but only 600 show up.
And it's a load time factor, that because the time it would take for eBay to send it to your phone, the load time is too high, so they had to set it at 600. But you can still do a search and find it.
Okay, cool. The next person, they've used the GSP, but then they removed it, and they have just marginal international sales. They'd like to do more as a way to easily increase international sales, and they do list for all countries.
Okay, so if they're worldwide and they're listing for countries, what they want to do is, here's my suggestion. My suggestion is for your heavier items, use GSP, because the difference is really big. In people, your heavier items, they don't pay as, you can go up to 4 pounds for first class international, but then after that, it starts getting to be expensive. So eBay GSP ships everything priority. So if anything's going priority, consider using GSP. But here's my issue. If you are not shipping, you've got to look, if you're not shipping GSP, you've got to look at what your weight, your shipping costs are. So a lot of the reason what happened to a lot of people is they're like, well, I left GSP and I added shipping, but then you're like, okay, so you're shipping a flat rate padded envelope, but you're charging $31. It's only $23.95 to ship that, because they think people were used to the GSP prices, not realizing that GSP also included VAT and customs and everything. So I'm not saying that she's doing that or he's doing that. I just look at your shipping costs. And if you've got shipping costs built in to domestic to be free, say, for example, I had a cross-stitch pattern. I had it for $15.99. $2 of that is because I've got shipping in it. Consider that your shipping to the UK is going to be, $6. Don't add $6 shipping. Add $4 shipping, because you've already got some cost built in there for free shipping in the US. And that's why I get a lot of customers that say, wow, your shipping's so inexpensive compared to other sellers. So keep that in mind. And I think a lot of the reasons why a lot of worldwide stuff is not selling is because they've got the shipping way too high. They add fees and all of that. So you want to make it feasible, not lose money, but, one thing, I do not have any calculated shipping on eBay. There's been too many glitches. So I weigh my items and do a flat rate, a flat fee. There could be glitches from that, and I will say that. I use no calculated internationally.
Yeah, I always use flat because I do the same thing. All my stuff ships in a small flat rate padded envelope, so it's a large envelope and it ships because it's just under. It is just under that 0.75.
Good. So
just fits.
Awesome.
Okay, next question. What do you consider a good amount of mobile sales percentage? This is Char's question, and she's at about 23% of her sales are from mobile.
Well, the thing is I keep getting the notice that, so many items of yours is has been sold by mobile. I'm in a different category, because I'm in a category where most of my buyers probably don't even know what a smartphone is, because they're little ladies that sit at home, are 75 or 80 years old, and are on their computers buying my cross-stitch patterns. So my number's only 21, but my son's last month on his little message he got from eBay was 48. And he's selling, jerseys, sports jerseys. So I think it all depends on your category, if you want my opinion. So I can't give it. What was yours, Karen?
Mine runs in the 20s usually, and mine's mostly things that are bought by men because they're the military coins. So
yeah, so it's going to be different with everybody depending on category. Yeah,
exactly. Should we still mention in our description for international sellers, but the price of item does not include customs, taxes, and fees? I know there's big discussion always about that.
Yeah, there is a big discussion, and I'm glad you asked about it. A lot of people have kept it in their listings, but because here's why. It's on the eBay help pages saying you need it, but in the new update that came out last year, it says you do not need it. So the page that was prior to the new update has not been updated. Griff was working on it, but it has been confirmed that you do not need it. You will be covered in a case. if they, if they say, oh, I didn't know I had to pay customs. It will be a feedback removal, and you will not get a defect. But if you feel more comfortable having it in there, I say do it. But I don't use it because I've been told that we don't need it. But it's a personal choice because there's conflicting.
I'm so glad you said that, because I had the same question from a client last week, and I said, oh, no, you don't need it. And then I went to find the link to prove it to him, and I couldn't find the link because it isn't there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know, too, doesn't eBay, when it's an international buyer, send them in that thing that, you've won the item, taxes and blah, 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 are all your responsibility? So,
exactly. Yeah, they get a blurb saying that. So they're already telling them when they click on the item, it says, if you buy this, please be aware that customs fees are not included in shipping or the cost of the item, and you may be responsible.
Yeah. So then people just need to read it. We won't go there.
Exactly.
Okay. The next question is, it's about I know we're doing mobile, but this is about GSP, and you had been talking a bit about it. The GSP has poor tracking. However, does eBay favor sellers who use GSP in search?
Okay. I don't think that GSP really in search is a big issue. It's a bunch of algorithms of different things. It's more, if you're a top-rated seller, your keywords, all of that, your photos, everything. People would say yes, that GSP sellers get more, but I tell you what, I've got a big competitor who uses GSP on everything, and I'm still outselling her, 10 to 1 on most of internationally, and I don't use any GSP. So I don't know if they do use it. She is a top-rated seller. I've been watching her numbers and her sales. I'm not stalking her. I'm just watching the competition.
Smart. It's always smart to watch your competition.
Yeah, it is. And so I don't know if GSP gets you up in search.
Well, and I was going to say, for small, lightweight items like you do or like I do, GSP makes the cost so much higher for the shipping for the customer that we're going to definitely fall behind other people that just do standard first-class international envelopes.
Exactly. And the GSP program, I was on a phone call with them last week with Voices, and they heard us. They heard us loud and clear. And one of the biggest issues is why does everything have to go priority? Please consider first class.
Yeah, because, I ship everything first class international, either a large envelope or package. And, that's a $5 to $8 charge. And, priority makes it up into the 20s and 30s. And I'm like, nobody is going to pay that for my 3-ounce, little
Exactly.
item.
Exactly.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just really, really encourage people to, the biggest issue is make sure that your listings are mobile ready. If you're not going to sell on eBay and you're using the computer, go look at your listing on a mobile device and see if it's ready. A lot of mine are not, because I still have the old templates from Seller Sourcebook. And, I've got my video that eBay did of me in 2008 on some of them. People that have a mobile device can't even see that video, But I just haven't had time to clean them up because I'm going in about 15 different directions. So
we can't relate.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
Good question to put in here. I think they're mishearing. They say, what is the DSP? I think what we're saying is GSP, Robert.
Yes.
That's the Global Shipping Program. You want to tell them real quick what that is, Cindy?
Yeah, the Global Shipping Program is open to a number of countries where, as an eBay seller, it opens yourself up to international selling without the fear of international selling. And believe me, it is. I have not had any issues but one on international shipping. So please open yourself up to that if you can. But what it is, it's called the Global Shipping Program. You mail your item to Erlanger, Kentucky. Pitney Bowes is the company that's handling this. They open up your package, make sure it's what it is, and then they ship it for you. So you're paying just to get the item to Kentucky, and then they do it the rest of the way. GSP is great for expensive items for countries that you're a little concerned about, and they're opening up new countries all the time. So for those that can use it, that are heavier items, that can go priority because they don't use first class, then that's something to really consider.
Awesome.
Okay. When doing the description, we're back to mobile now. When doing the description, is there a recommendation to have a space between lines of text or no space?
You know, it doesn't matter. It's just that your items are going to be seen in the first 250 characters that you have in your description are what's going to help you in organic search. So I don't put spaces. I left a line. And there's been, if you go to Google Shopping and you look at their requirements, they don't like bullets. A lot of people still use them. It just depends on where you want your item to be seen. But if you're going to use your item in Google Shopping and you have bullets, they kick them out. And so they kick out your listing. And so that's something to keep in mind. But I use left aligned, and I just make paragraphs. I don't put spaces between them. I just want it to flow easier. And I think with spacing, it kind of breaks it up, and I think it's harder to read. But just don't use paragraphs.
Okay.
Awesome. Long blocks of text are bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're bad on anything. I mean, I can keep looking at my website, and I'm like, I need to fix that. So this is about your personal listings. Do you use good till cancel or 30-day duration?
I use all good till canceled. And the reason why is because two reasons. One, I don't have time to relist them, you know, and then I lose them, you know, because I go, oh, wow, well, that hasn't been relisted for 2 months, you know. And so I just don't have time. When you got 2,500 items in your store and you're running the store, I don't do the 30-day. The other reason why is because I buy a lot of wholesale. 75% of my business is wholesale needlework patterns. And when I buy those patterns and I get low, when my inventory list says you're low, I order, and then I just come in and I open up my iPhone and I revise my listing and I add 12 new patterns or 15 new patterns. So you'll see a lot of my listings could be 4 or 5 years old, but I've sold 550 of those items or 450 of those items. I've got that in search, and I'm, you know, when you pull me up with that item, I'm the top, because I'm in best match because I keep selling them and selling them and selling them. But I'm just revising the listing. So there's people that are going to say 30 days the best. There's other people that are going to say good till canceled's best. I did a test where I did 30-day listings for 6 months, and I tell you what, I didn't have any more sales than I did with good till canceled on those items.
Well,
So
yeah, that's one of the things I talk with people about a lot. I myself have 75 items sitting here behind me that fell out because I played with 30 days for a while, and now I have to do them all from scratch again because they're gone.
exactly, they disappear off the site, so you have to completely start over. So that's really something. I mean, I had a lady the other day contact me, and she said, "Wow, I'd really like to buy the 4th pattern in the series." And I go, "Well, I have it." Well, it had fallen off because it was on one of the 30 days, and so I almost lost the sale, you know, because she says, "Can you get me the 4th pattern in the series?" And I was like, "God, how many other items?" So I went in and found a whole bunch that I have to start over on.
Yep, I
So-
have boxes.
Yep. So it depends, and eBay's going to give you 2 different stories. They're going to say, well, 30. If you call CS, one's going to say 30 days are best. The next CS is going to tell you good till cancel's best. So it's just something you have to play with.
Yeah, you have to figure out what works best for your business. Like Cindy with her 2,500 items, or me, where I don't focus mainly on eBay. I don't have time to go back and relist. Cindy doesn't have time to go back and make sure that we didn't let this one fall off. It didn't disappear. You know. And then you tweak them when you can.
Exactly. So, yeah.
All
So
right.
if there's more questions, I'm happy to answer them. I have to speak at eBay this afternoon, but I'm fine for a few more minutes.
Okay, I've got 3 more. I don't know what Kat has, so let me get through
I
my
have
3.
about 12, so go quick.
Okay, we'll do them quickly.
What size text is the best in listings?
Well, they say that if you're using your phone, 14 is the best. The iPhone is a little bit smaller. They are working on it. It will likely be 14, and they will not go. They will not. You cannot choose on the mobile device, but they are going with 14, from what I understand.
Okay. When I use TurboLister, there is a custom label place where I put my shelf number, etc. Is there anything like that on the mobile app?
There is not at this point, to request it, email me, and I'll give you the information to request that to the team, to the beta team. You can even, mobile at ebay.com and request that. That's been one of those that they do listen, but they've got to get a lot of requests for that.
Yeah, because I would think, just personally, I use that custom field for my SKU, which helps for cross-channel management. So I would think people that do a lot of listings or a lot of multi-channel would need that field. Just my
Yeah,
guess.
and I don't use it, and I have thousands of items because my items are stored. My patterns are stored alphabetically, so I know where they're all at. So I don't have that type thing. So, but yeah, they do listen. So,
okay. My last question, then I'll hand it off to Kat. Should eBay borders be eliminated to make the listing better for mobile buyers?
eBay borders, do you mean templates?
I'm wondering if you make that listing. You know,
yeah, I clarified that with Ed. That question was from Ed, and I clarified it, and he said he was talking about borders under templates.
Yeah, because eBay has those listing things that you can put on when you're creating a sell your item one.
Oh, yeah. I like for mobile, you want your item to be clear, because if they're going to put borders around them and stuff, they're not going to fit into the mobile device. They're not going to, a lot of them will not adjust because the way the HTML is done. You don't want to have a lot of HTML in your listings, and those borders each require a lot of HTML. So I would say get rid of borders and just make it a clean listing, left aligned. Not a lot of color fonts either. Use one color font. You know, you're going to lose me if I go in and I see, like, I'm looking down here at my cost logo that was done for me. And if you have that in my listing and you have, you know, red and then you have blue and then you have yellow and you have green, it's just too busy for me to try to read on a little small device. So.
Okie dokie. And Kat, I am handing it off to you to all the stuff that came in while I was asking these.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks, Cindy. Kat.
Okay, Karen, and if I duplicate any, please let me know, because I think I may have gotten some that you got, so we'll go through. Okay, from Diana, where do you find good to canceled? I'm only offered list free for 3 items. So is it possible that some people do not have the option of good to canceled? Cindy, I haven't heard that.
Okay, now when she says list free for 3 items, is she a brand new seller?
I don't know, but I remember that there is a beta test out there where you can list something and eBay will relist it 3 times for you.
Oh, the relisting.
Yeah,
yes.
She says that she's seeing that on her account, but she's not seeing the GTC. I hadn't heard that one before.
Okay, and I haven't either. She will be able to go into the device and see. She may be on restricted listings. I have her email me, and I'll follow up with her on that.
Okay, please email Cindy about that, Diana. That'd be great. Patty says, did I hear you right that if you use bullets in your description, your item is dropped? And I think she means dropped from search.
Yeah, it's dropped from Google Shopping. Google Shopping does not allow bullets. So that's not eBay. It's Google Shopping. Go into the Google Shopping directives, and you'll see that they do not allow bullets.
Yeah, we could talk about that all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, Nina says, yes, the 3 relist free is for new folks. Nina, that may be, but I do know some people that have been on eBay for a long time that are being offered that off and on, so I think it's a test eBay's doing. So I'm glad that Cindy can help Diana with that.
Yes.
Cherie says her sound is going in and out. Sorry about that, Cherie. Okay, question. Alita wants to know, what is a DELCON country? And I think you were referring to countries where delivery confirmation is available?
Yes.
DELCON? Okay.
Yeah, DELCON is where the post office, which is awesome for those that don't use GSP and can ship internationally. The DELCON countries are growing rapidly. That is, if you ship an item, you get it tracked right to the door. And that is a free service on eBay and PayPal and Stamps.com, any third party. If you go to the counter, I've heard a lot of people do not get the DELCON. And so you want to do that. And that is like Brazil, where a lot of people are scared to death to ship to Brazil. A lot of countries. And you can find those on the USPS. I could tell you what they all are, but we'd be here all day.
I bet Eric can. Maybe later he can pop on and give us the up-to-date information on countries on that.
Because there's...
Cindy and Kat, you know, one interesting thing is USPS just blocked, I think, 5 countries.
Yes.
DELCON. And by the way, DELCON is just delivery confirmation. For first class international, they, instead of calling it like USPS tracking like they call it in the US, it's called electronic delivery confirmation. And on the customs form, you'll see it will say DELCON listed. So oftentimes people will refer to it as DELCON. But it originally was about 50. Originally it was just Canada only. Then last year they added some more countries. Just this past May, they reduced some countries because some countries were having a hard time meeting their tracking requirements. USPS has some thresholds they must meet in order to be able to offer it, and so they reduced some of those countries. And I believe Brazil may have been one of them France was one as well. There was like 4 or 5 countries that they took that delivery confirmation away from. So if you're using First Class International and shipping to those countries, you definitely want to take notice that you will not get tracking all the way to those particular countries.
Yeah, and they pulled the Delcon off. They pulled the Delcon listing off. So Karen, do you know the countries?
I just popped the link in for everybody into the chat. Hopefully everybody sees it. The countries they just pulled off were Brazil, Denmark, France, Gibraltar, Italy, Luxembourg, and Portugal.
Yes, and I heard that Spain is also going to be on the list. I got that from my postmaster.
Yeah, so those are the ones they just took off the list. The countries that are on the list, Australia, Belgium, Canada, Croatia, Estonia, Finland, Germany, Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Hungary, Israel, Latvia, Lithuania, Malaysia, Malta, Netherlands, New Zealand, Singapore, Spain, and Switzerland. There.
Whew, that was a mouthful. Okay, so that's what Delcon means, and those are the countries. Thank you, Eric, for that information, too, and Karen for the link.
And I'll go over in the group.
Okay, put it in the question group. That's awesome. All right, this question's from Wayne. He said, I'm trying to keep my titles mobile-friendly. eBay always suggests title keywords. We add them, and then they suggest more. It seems like it's never-ending. Any thoughts about these long titles?
I use all the characters I can. There's going to be people that tell you not to, but here's Wayne, have your most important words first. Yes. So look at a Starbucks mug and say Starbucks coffee mug. Now remember, when you're using the word mug and you're using the word cup, regionally, mug and cup on eBay is not synonymous. It's not called a synonymous word. Mm-hmm. So some people that go, I want a Starbucks cup, they're going to go in and type in Starbucks cup, and on different regions, it's mug. So when I list those kind of things, I list the 2 words for regions. I use mug and cup because someone in England calls it a cup, someone in Utah calls it a mug, So make sure those keywords are your most important keywords are at the very front of the listing. And that's, to me, their suggestions. Sometimes I go, really? Really? And I think it's a computer that, they've looked at the computer and the computer said, well, this is what people are searching for. That's what that's based on. And so you got to think of language barriers also are put into that and regions. And so when I look at those listings, sometimes I have actually started ignoring them. I've looked at them and I went, really? And so it's just, you've got to use your own mind. But look at that item and see what you would type in to get it, and then think of what other people may type in to get it.
Very wise, very wise. Good question just came in from Alita. Can you use item specifics when listing on the mobile app?
The item specifics that you can use on the mobile app are the ones that eBay has provided. You cannot add custom at this time.
Great.
But it's something they are working on.
Awesome. I love the fact that you can add them, though, because they're so important in search. David, I appreciate that. David Rayar put the link in the chat that has the updated information about removing customs information. Bless you, David. I hope Karen can grab that and put it in our group. There's the link about not needing the customs wording in your listing. Thank you again, David. Nan wants to know, where can I find my mobile sales report on eBay? And I had that question from a couple of people, Cindy. How do they know what their mobile percentage is?
Okay, so what you do is every month eBay sends you a newsletter, and it'll say customized newsletter for you. I can't remember exactly what it's called. At the very top of it, underneath the heading, it'll say so many of your items were sold by mobile.
Okay, is that the Power Up thing they used to call it? Or is it
yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure if they changed the name. I didn't know. Okay, so that's where you can find that. Isn't there also, there's some way in your PayPal payments that it shows if it's a mobile payment?
Yes. Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
And I just can't go into mobile.
Yeah.
When I'm selling 45 or 50 items a day,
who cares?
Okay, I don't care how it was sold.
Good point. Good point. Okay, so from Misha, but how do we come up with a flat rate cost for shipping when it goes to so many different countries? I do flat rate domestic. I just use New York since it's furthest away from me, and I feel comfortable that my costs will be covered. But how can I do that when I could be shipping something to Japan or Australia? You see where she's coming from.
Yeah, so here's the thing, is there's different regions in the country, and I think Eric will agree with me on this. There are different regions in the world. The prices between all of them, except for Canada, Canada is much less, are pretty close in range. They're within cents of each other. And so like if you were shipping to Japan or you were shipping to Australia, they're only going to be cents. I take the highest one for weights. So say, for example, I was shipping something that's going to be 4 ounces. It's going to be $4.16 or $5.10. I can't remember, $5.10. That's going to be pretty much across the board. Well, in Canada, it's only going to be 2 something. So I take the highest one, and you can get those right off of, I believe Stamps has it for priority. They have all the weights for priority, but you can pull it right off the USPS board. Also in our Facebook group, we have a page that I can post also to my blog. I'll post it on cindysorley.com, and that'll give you that.
Okay, and the next 2 questions kind of go together. They're about multiple variations. Mary just asked, can you list multiple variations in the mobile app? And then Mary Ann's question is, I sell 600 plus t-shirts in various sizes, and I have them listed individually. 1 style equals 6 size, so 6 listings. So she has 600 individual listings. Should I combine all these sizes to one listing with multiple sizes to optimize my mobile viewing? So what about those of us who sell in the variations? You know, how should we list for our mobile buyers? And can we list variations using the mobile app?
You cannot list multiple variations right now, and I will tell you the variation listing program is being looked at right now. Not that they're going to take it away, they're just going to make it easier. And so eBay Mobile didn't want to touch that while it was being worked on, and it's pretty difficult. I mean, if you're trying to list multiple variations, there's so many workarounds on it. Okay. And Mary Ann's question about multiple variations, here's my thing that I have found great success with. I list 1 color with all the different sizes instead of listing a whole bunch of colors with different sizes. I think you'll be seen better.
Okay. All right, fantastic. Linda's talking about using Calculated for international. I think the reason Cindy doesn't recommend that is because of the glitches she's experienced with her international customers.
And that's been going on for years. Yeah, that's been going on for years. You know, and I've had a lot of people contact me and go, "Wow, I had Calculated and it was, and they to Russia and it said it was $12 and I have to pay $16." You know. You know, and so I hear it all the time with Calculated. So that's why flat works.
All right, guys, and one last question. So if we've missed you, you got about 5 minutes to get your question in, because here's my last one from Connie. Can you relist multiple items at once? I know through eBay on the computer, you can kind of pick 5 or 6 and relist. Can you do that on mobile? Or?
No, you cannot at this point. But again, it's something they're working on. It has been a highly requested, and it is definitely being looked at.
Okay, great. I did get one that I think you and Karen did talk about, but can we touch real quickly on it again? When I use TurboLister, there's that custom label issue. I think you said that they were working on making that available in mobile, but it wasn't right now.
They're not working on it because it hasn't been requested enough.
Oh, okay.
So that's where you have to write mobile at ebay.com and make a request. Just say a mobile device request.
Oh, Cindy, I'm so glad you mentioned that. That's one of the things that I love about the eBay mobile team is that there's so many things people want in the app that they're responding to the audience. The more people that request a certain feature or, make it do this or can it do that, the more people request that's what they're reacting to. Right, Cindy?
Exactly. Right. And they do list. They're an amazing team. Amazing.
They are. They're very. I met them at several of the events. They're really a cool team. And so if you have something that you say, I would list on mobile, but I need it to do this, send that, as Cindy told you, to mobile@ebay.com and put mobile device request. They do consider all of those.
Yes.
Nanette asked, could you please do a bulk blog post about how to quickly bulk revise to remove your bullet points from your listing? So there's a possible blog post for you.
Okay, I will definitely do that for her, Nanette. And I know that Nanette has requested to join my group. Again, we are a closed group. We want to keep it for quality instead of quantity. We are at 856 members. We don't want to get too big, but because of you that signed up today, I'm very, very happy to add you. If you email me and not tell me why, but just say you heard me on this. And,
okay, awesome.
Most of my admins are here today, and they'll get the request, and we will get you added. We're a fun group. We're a big family. So, and it is free. There's no charge. So, and I'm welcome to, if you guys have any other suggestions to Kat and Eric and Karen, I can go into bigger detail on mobile down the road if you want, or also on my specialty, customer service, which I think a lot of eBay sellers are really lacking.
Yeah, we have to work on that. Just relay not a question, but a comment from Nisha, and I've heard this several times in the chat room. I want to thank you, Cindy. She said, much thanks for all the awesome information. So a lot of thank yous. The chat room's filling up with that. And they, since I'm not, oh, one more question. Your requests are filling up, Carolyn wants to tell you. And Andy says, I'm not seeing much store visibility on the eBay app. If I'm correct, isn't that counterproductive for sellers? Not sure where he's going with that.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying. What if he could
email that maybe or post it on Facebook.
I suspect what he means is you have your stuff in your store and you can go to stores, whereas the apps are more based on listings, like the search, and it'll find a listing but not an eBay store, maybe.
Do you really search for stores?
I don't know.
I don't search for stores. I've been on eBay buying since 1998, and I just don't go searching for stores. I go searching for an item. So I would like to follow up on that and see how many people really, down the road, see how many people really search for stores. But yeah, you go into it. You go into your eBay search. Mm-hmm. You go into your eBay search and you search for an item. You type in seller, and then you put a colon, and then you put their name of the store. So if I were to go in, I go into search, I put seller, colon, Bubba Can Dance, and it'll bring up my whole store.
Awesome. Now, I think that only works on the iPhone, because I know that I've gone back and forth with this with Sunita on the Android. I can't do that on my Android.
Okay, yeah. Again, the disclaimer is I'm an Apple user, so but it is available on Apple products. And also, I think I'm going to give you guys a big hint before I leave.
Awesome.
I like the iPhone app a lot, but I like using it on. I download the iPhone app onto my Mini. Both programs are really good, but I like the flow of the iPhone app more. But I use my Mini a lot of times, so I have both iPhone and iPad app on my Mini. So that's just something to keep in mind. See which one you like the most.
Yeah, well, they have a bunch of apps. They have apps for almost every process. All right, thank you again, Cindy. I know you're headed out, and lots of thank yous coming in from the chat room. I really appreciate your information. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome.
And thank you. And you know what? For everybody that's emailing me about joining my group or whatever, I may not get to you till late tonight. I'm speaking at eBay this afternoon, and it's going to be a pretty busy day. So I'll get to you. I won't forget you.
Awesome. Thanks, Cindy, and thank you all. Don't forget to sign up at ecommerceweekly.com/webinars for our next webinar next month in August about eBay stores. And we'd love to hear your suggestions on our Facebook group. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.